Imagine a common soldier, without any big titles or fortune. Yet he would become the most decorated of the entire Roman Empire. In ancient Rome, the path to glory seemed reserved for the elite and the children of great families. But Spurius Ligustinus, a man of humble origins, broke through all barriers, proving that honor didn't depend on noble blood. What drives a simple man to challenge the odds and earn more medals than any other legionary? Spurius faced battles that few would even dare to imagine. And today, you'll discover how he, step by step, turned his life into a legend. Get ready for an epic journey through the battlefields and meet the story of the man who conquered Rome without needing a throne. Spurius Ligustinus was born in the outskirts of Rome, in a small village far from the great cities and the luxury that the Roman Empire provided to the elite. His father, a simple farmer, taught him early on the value of hard work. For life for those living far from the heart of the Republic depended on the land and manual labor. Spurius's childhood was marked by this daily grind, where sweat and resilience were the only guarantees of survival. But even in adversity, he carried an indomitable spirit, shaped by necessity and the aspiration to be more than just a peasant. Growing up in a society as rigid as Rome, where social classes were practically insurmountable barriers, Spurius knew his fate was sealed as a common man. However, there was something in his spirit that set him apart from others. On his trips to the city, he watched in fascination the stories of legionaries returning from military campaigns. They were men who bore the weight of the empire's glories, marked by both the pain and pride of battle. This was the world he secretly yearned to be a part of. The desire for a life beyond the farms only grew as Spurius matured. Despite his humble beginnings, he developed a unique shrewdness in recognizing the opportunities around him. He knew that as a plebeian, his only chance for ascension would be through arms, serving in the Roman legions. In an expanding Rome, the army made no distinction between nobility and commoners when valor in battle was proven. This thought settled in his mind as an inevitable destiny, a route of escape from rural life. The crucial moment came when Spurius turned 17 and had to make the decision of his life. Instead of following in his father's footsteps, he enlisted in the Roman army. The change wasn't easy. Leaving behind his family and the farm meant more than just a career choice. It was the abandonment of a lifetime in search of something uncertain. However, the lure of conquest, adventure, and the possibility of personal glory spoke louder. Spurius set off, unaware that he would never return as the same man who left the village. From that moment on, he was officially on the path to building a story that would never be forgotten. But as he took his first steps in the army, Spurius faced the harsh reality that his humble origins would not protect him from the brutal dangers of war. As a low-ranking soldier, he would be tested both physically and mentally, thrown into the fires of battles that would determine the fate of Rome. Yet the young legionary knew that every blow he received would only be another step toward his destiny. Spurius Ligustinus's first military campaign took him to the far reaches of the Roman Empire, an inhospitable land in the east where barbarian tribes threatened the Roman borders. Still inexperienced, Spurius was thrown into a war of proportions he could never have imagined. The discipline of the Roman legions was strict, with exhausting training that made no distinction between veterans and newcomers. Every soldier, regardless of their background, was molded to become an efficient war machine, capable of following orders without question, and Spurius was no exception. The beginning of the campaign was a true baptism by fire. In the first battle, Spurius witnessed the horrors of war up close. The cries of wounded men, the smell of blood, and the metallic sound of swords clashing in the heat of combat enveloped him completely. However, instead of succumbing to fear, Spurius found an unknown strength within himself. He fought bravely, aware that every moment on the battlefield could be his last. But it was this very awareness that kept him focused, knowing that his survival depended on his ability to learn quickly and adapt. During this campaign, Spurius also began to notice complexities that went beyond sheer brute strength. He learned to observe the details, the small weaknesses in the enemy lines, how Roman commanders organized their troops and manipulated tactics to win seemingly impossible battles. His desire to be more than just a simple soldier grew with each battle won, and he began to gain the attention of his superiors, not for his background, but for his dedication and combat skills. This initial campaign was a turning point in Spurius's life. He realized that to survive and thrive in the Roman army, it wasn't enough to be strong. It was essential to be cunning and strategic. Gradually, he began to make friends and forge alliances within the legions, building a network of comrades that would prove crucial for his rise in the future. The respect he was starting to earn among his fellow soldiers was the first step on his long journey toward glory. By the end of the campaign, Spurius was no longer the young peasant who had left his village. He had become a hardened soldier, capable of facing the horrors of war without hesitation. Each battle brought him closer to his goal. The glory he so deeply desired seemed less distant, but he knew the road ahead was still long. The true test was just beginning. With the experience gained from his first campaign, Spurius Ligustinus began to stand out in the ranks of the legion. He quickly became known not only for his courage, but also for his tactical skill and his ability to remain calm under pressure. While many soldiers sought immediate glory, Spurius understood that his true worth was not in a single heroic act, but in consistency and mastery of his skills on the battlefield. He began studying troop movements and getting to know the enemy with surgical precision, achieving crucial victories. Spurius earned the respect of his superiors through decisive actions at critical moments. In a battle where the Roman legionaries were cornered by barbarian forces, Spurius took the lead when his centurion fell in combat. Demonstrating bold courage, he organized the remaining troops and led a strategic counterattack that turned the tide of the battle. This feat earned him his first promotion in the army, rising from a simple soldier to a squad leader, a key step in his ascent. Spurius's fame didn't take long to spread. His acts of bravery began to attract the attention not only of his fellow legionaries, but also of the commanders of the legions. His rapid rise was due as much to his effectiveness in combat as to his ability to inspire those around him. Spurius knew how to handle his men, keeping them focused and determined, even in the most adverse situations. He was respected not for brute strength, but for the intelligence and charisma he displayed while commanding. As the years passed, Spurius participated in various campaigns on the borders of the empire, always tested in situations that demanded both strength and cunning. Each battle was a new opportunity to prove his worth, and he seized it like a true strategist. With each promotion, Spurius left behind the shadow of his humble origins and moved closer to a position of respect within the army. He knew that ultimate glory would come, but he was in no rush, as each step taken solidified him as an unbeatable soldier. Promotions came naturally. He was elevated to the rank of centurion and then commander of a legion, a position few common men would dream of achieving. But Spurius was not driven by unchecked ambition. He had a greater purpose. Each battle won, each honor earned, served to build his legacy within Rome. His name began to echo in the halls of power in the Eternal City, and the promise of something grander became increasingly tangible. The true test of Spurius Ligustinus came in the most dangerous campaigns that Rome ever faced. Among the most challenging was the campaign against the Cimbri and Teutons, Germanic tribes that threatened to invade the heart of the empire. These battles were crucial not only for Rome's survival, but also for solidifying Spurius's name among the great military heroes. The accounts of these wars speak of devastating ambushes, inhospitable weather, and relentless enemies, but also of the valor of the soldiers who faced the impossible. In one of these battles, Spurius led his troops in a brutal offensive against the Cimbri. The Roman army was at a disadvantage, surrounded on all sides. The tension was palpable, and many soldiers began to give in to panic. It was at this moment that Spurius demonstrated why he was so respected. He stayed calm, reorganized his battle lines, and ordered a flanking maneuver that caught the enemy by surprise. Victory seemed unlikely, but Spurius turned chaos into discipline, securing an unexpected triumph. The victories did not come without cost. Spurius lost many men throughout these battles, and the weight of responsibility on his shoulders grew heavier. He knew that with each war won, more demands would be placed upon him. But Spurius never backed down. He faced each new challenge with the same determination that had made him leave his humble life behind. His resilience and composure on the battlefield became legendary, and stories of his deeds circulated among the legions, reaching even the Senate in Rome. On another occasion, Spurius and his troops were sent to suppress a rebellion in North Africa, where local tribes threatened Roman dominance. The scorching heat and hostile terrain further complicated the situation. The enemies knew the territory well and used that advantage to their favor. Spurius, however, drew on his accumulated experience and cunning to turn the situation around, setting up ambushes and employing guerrilla tactics to weaken the enemy. Amid the difficulties, he proved once again that no situation was insurmountable. These crucial battles forged Spurius into the ultimate soldier. Each victory brought not only new challenges, but also solidified his position as one of the greatest military leaders Rome had ever seen. Medals and decorations piled up, but for Spurius, the true reward was knowing that with each campaign, he was continuing to build what would become an immortal legacy, forever etched in the history of Rome.